Student Game Report. The man Kyle Nash here. We are now entering Week 5 NFL. Closing the books on Week 4, actually. Kyle Nash, what's going on? Are you also in the van? Also,
yeah. Okay, so listen. You keep driving this damn van in Florida. You don't turn on the AC. I roll down the window. My hat goes out again. I'm not going to blame you. It just sucks to have to keep adjusting for this.
You'll get over it. You'll find it'll be a little. You'll find it'll be a little. You feel a little bit at home after a while doing this. You'll be in the van, of course.
Listen, maybe it's this. Maybe I'm trying to attract another demographic with my awesome hair. For those that are watching the video edition.
So last week on the show, you sat there in the entire fucking podcast, like picturing it here while analyzing. And now this week, I guess so. It's not as wet today, I guess.
Well, give it time. Like we're just into the show. You haven't even cursed yet, so I mean, let's use the analogy. Like, you had an NBA playoff series doesn't start until somebody wins a game on the road. And Earnestly Speaking podcast doesn't really begin until Ernest curses. So here we go.
Oh, shit.
Here we go. Bring it.
Well, we got a lot to talk about today. Let's review last night's Monday Night Football game.
Must have been.
Let's really not. I don't want to.
I mean, we don't have a Giants fan on the panel, so why does it matter?
Shut it.
If you're still trying to claim it as fake as it is, I give you props for leaning into the gimmick like that, because any real Giants fan would be humiliated by what happened.
Well, I'm glad I was.
By the way, Coach of the Year! Woo!
He deserved Coach of the Year last year. I still defend that. In fact,
you can defend it all you want.
I believe someone last night, was it Scott Van Pelt or was it Joe Buck last night defended that? Yeah, you should.
Well, okay.
Oh no, it was John Middlecoff. John Middlecoff. Thank you, John Middlecoff.
Okay, John Middlecoff defended you. That's a point in my column. Next,
John Middlecoff. Middlecoff's awesome.
Middlecoff is terrible.
Oh my God. Okay. Anyway,
he's not Bill Simmons bad, but he is a hot take artist like no other.
Well, there you go with the hair now. Anyway, Giants lose 24-3. Well, Seahawks win.
Is that all?
It felt like it was like worse than that. Daniel Jones. Can we talk about Daniel Jones real quick? Look, he deserves a lot of blame for last night. He made mistakes, but he's the only guy that showed up, really, for that Giants offense.
Okay, hold on.
Did anything?
Let me stop you there.
Okay.
Okay. As great as I think Dan Marino is, the reason why he broke records is because he was the only dude that had the ball in his hands every play. Yeah. And it's the same concept for Daniel Jones. Right. Now, what I will defend is that their offensive line is garbage.
Fucking trash.
We've been talking about it for how long? By the way, I appreciate how you translated my French inflection to EJ Christian thorough, trashy, raunchy curse mode as you're opt to do. You're on brand.
I'm still raw from last night, brother.
I mean, I would think a Cowboys fan would be celebrating this, but here we go.
Stop the Cowboys stuff. No, we're good on that one.
Nah, fam.
This is not the big Jim Howard now. That's tonight.
The only problem with it's not when the Cowboys are good and it's not when the Irish are good, but when they're both good, he gets really chirpy. I'm just throwing that out there.
Until December and January.
Damn. That's quite a shot fired. That's some cowboy on cowboy crime right
Jim
there.
is pretty good at the regular season chirpiness, but once it gets to when it actually counts, yeah. The Twitter feed gets a little EKG-ish up and down, if you will.
I don't know. There was a particular year where the Caps won the NHL, and he was doing just fine in terms of heck. The Hershey Bears got a butt ton of love from the big Jim Neese Twitter account, but that's okay.
It takes him going to I guess the equivalent of a D League hockey team to find some success. I guess
no, just a champion. But I digress. Listen, here's that line has been bad for some time.
Yes.
But we weren't talking about it because the actual MVP last year, Saquon Barkley, especially according to the student of the game, and your boy, Mikey Byrne, who agreed with me that he was the MVP last year. He's not present. Guess what happened? Kaploosh. If you don't want to relinquish that Brian Daboll was not the coach of the year last year, which he wasn't, You now have officially gotten evidence that I was right too about Saquon Barkley. I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen. Anyways, and I'll say this. When Geno Smith got hurt and was held out for the rest of the game, it was a lock that the Giants would be humiliated. Anyway.
Why Drew Lock? Why'd you do it? God. That's how you know it's a bad night. When Drew Lock and they start to torture you, but make that one play to the receiver and then on the sideline. And here's the worst part of the game too. That was still a game. That as bad as that game was.
Until
that game was for the taking. They lost that game because of two plays. The pick six, obviously, that's 6 points going all the way, and then the fumble in your own red zone that set up a touchdown for Dickie Metcalf. Take away those two scores. It's what now it's 14-3. No, not even 14-3.
Still a loss, is what it is.
It's still a loss, but it's a game.
This isn't college football. The Giants can't come higher up the polls because it was closer. It doesn't matter.
Here's a sad stat too. In the first half, they're outscored 77-9 in the first half through 4 games. How pathetic is that?
I mean, listen.
I would argue they're the worst team in football right now. I would argue that.
Well, I mean, your Cowboys bias kind of comes into play on that too. There's another team that struggles to score early, and that's the Jacksonville Jaguars. And here's the thing. The Giants defense doesn't do what the Jacksonville Jaguars defense does, and that's, make an impact early. As you said, it's not just dimes that are causing a run on the proverbial bank here. See what I did there?
Yeah. That's good.
They're bad in a lot of places that aren't Saquon Barkley.
Right. The O-line's bad. I'm not going to sit and blame Jones for the entire game yesterday.
You can't.
He's going to be a large part of the problem, but 10 sacks is 10 sacks.
Well, here's the other thing. Y'all paid dimes a butt ton. That's going to stop you from fixing the problem.
That's the worst part. They should have franchised him. Like when over the offseason when I defended the deal, it wasn't I defended the deal. I defended the language of the contract. It's really it's 4 years, 160, yes, but it's really a 2-year, $82 million contract. After year 2, they can get out of the deal.
The reason why that's not a good argument, though, is you guys made the playoffs, meaning the Giants, right? And you're hoping to build on that in a division that also had the defending AFC champions / Super Bowl runners-up, who basically played a game good enough to win the Super Bowl in question. I'm sorry. It was a hold. It was the correct call. Shut your butts, Eagle fans, okay? Sorry. I hated that it ended that way too, but hey, Bradbury, maybe don't get beat. Anyways.
Or don't hold.
Well, no. If he holds, then the Chiefs score a winning touchdown instead of a winning field goal. So
right.
Don't get beat is the correct answer. Not for nothing. But if you're in that place where you're trying to leverage and build, having another target at quarterback or leaning here's the reason why it's dumb, and you and I both know this. If you wanted to go to a different quarterback that could actually legitimately support Saquon and can do it for less money and lean into Saquon, I think everybody out there in the NFL verse would respect that. Why? Because you're using the 49ers model at that point. Then whatever money you had left over doing that, because paying, even if you cash out of your mind, if you give Saquon a Christian McCaffrey caliber contract, you still have enough money to tool up at other pieces. Oh, I should say build up. Tool up might confuse you. Anyways, so with that in mind, if you have all these pieces, you can improve the offensive line. You could touch up the defense. You could do other things. I don't think their receiver core is great, but I think it's enough of a core to where you can do that running-based receiver spreading kind of offense, a game management offense, letting itself to a quarterback that isn't necessarily the most talented in the bunch, but has the cerebral capacity to manage a game. Maybe a Russell Carrington-Wilson type, And, well, you wouldn't have gotten Rusty because somebody was dumb enough to pay him stupid money.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a quarterback out there in free agency, or you could have gotten Josh Dobbs, hell, and done plenty good, right?
I
Poor
mean,
Josh Dobbs. He's just constantly stuck in garbage situations, and he's playing quality football.
yeah, you got to give him credit for that one. Daniel Jones, 1-7 on Monday Night Football, 1-11 on primetime overall.
Does he play for the Vikings now? I'm sorry, I got confused.
No, I was saying that definitely has a Kirk Cousins feel to it, huh?
Right. Actually, I'm sure that 1-7 is worse than Cousins. I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, I mean, as much as our friend Big Jim of the Huddle Up podcast wants to defend Kirk Coupons all the time, Daniel Jones is his best defense, and he can do so while dunking on you as hard as your kids do.
Well, that's true. I'm gonna say as much though. Season's over for the Giants. 1-3 out the gate. Now they come down here on Sunday to Miami.
Well, I mean, listen, if their season's over, that means they can hang out with the Phillies because their season's over too, right? Right, EJ? Right.
Oh my God, enough already. Sixers, not Phillies.
Whatever. It's a Philadelphia team. You
That's
obviously
true.
think their season's over.
Yeah, it's already. It's over for Sixers. You know that. No, you got Miami.
The Eagles are undefeated, but their season's over.
Definitely, that one's definitely over. No, fucking Miami Dolphins this week, Buffalo Bills week after. Just pack it up, man. Just pack it up.
You know, speaking of that, let me transition to that game first because I got to tell you, that's one that I got wrong with the Bills and the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
But I know why.
Why?
Okay. What was my big stat, whether it be here or on the Huddle Up podcast, bing, or even on the Student of the Game podcast, bing, that Tua Tagovailoa gets the ball out faster than any other quarterback, and that the line won't have an opportunity
to get to him. Yeah.
That defensive tackle core is legit AF. I've said that before. Ed Oliver, I've been watching him since college.
He's
as
good.
Bad Mama Jammas go, he's on the list. He's not Aaron Charles Donald, but he's really good. And listen, he and his fellow DTs there on that line made me remember that Tua is not super mobile. I'm not saying he can't move. He is not the best, scrambling quarterback in the league.
He's not Daniel Jones.
He's not Daniel Jones. Listen, say what you will about Dimes. He can run.
Yeah.
Throwing the ball is an issue. But anyways, so that, and if you're a D tackle busting in, that's the shortest route to the quarterback. So even if you take only 2-point-something seconds to release the ball, there's a chance they could get in there faster than if they're breaking up the middle. And listen, long with the short, I screwed up underestimating those D tackles. I knew they were good, but I thought they'd be neutralized, and I'm wrong.
Yeah. So since we went there real quick, are the Bills the best team in the AFC?
No. They might have the highest ceiling or potential to do the best in a particular game. But the lack of consistency prevents me from saying they're the best in the league. Now, I know certain other tools out there may have been enticed to oversell and put them entirely too high in the top 10 list, not to mention any names or to attempt to spoil anything. But, the Dolphins were catapulted and basically to be rewarded for a 70 burger. I ain't mad at that. But I think the Bills are also being overcorrected in the eyes of a lot in the name of knee jerk because they beat the team that got the 70 burger. But we've always had questions about the Dolphins defense. How good are they really? And they got challenged and they look like butt.
So we shouldn't be over concerned about the Dolphins, but also at the same time not too hype on the Bills either.
You said the Saints?
No. We shouldn't be over concerned with the Dolphins coming out of this game. But
no. Listen,
right.
These are
at the
still
same
two
time,
teams that could meet in the playoffs for all.
At the same time, not overhype the Bills also too off this loss.
Did Tua get hurt?
No.
We're not concerned about the Dolphins. There you go.
Yeah, and they'll win next week. They're playing the Giants. They'll win next week. So
listen, Cowboys fans, stop selling the farm so quickly. Let's see what the spread is first.
I'll tell you in a second. But no, I mean, look, I think Buffalo these last 3 weeks. I mean, look, your one loss. Now, granted, they should have put the game away in that game against the Jets week 1, especially when you lose Aaron Rodgers, in the first drive of the game, But they're literally a bad Josh Allen game for being 4-0 right now.
I don't think the Bills lose that game in a time other than week 1.
Right.
I don't think the Bills realized that the Jets defense was that damn good.
Yeah. Which is evident from this past week against Kansas City too.
So brilliant. Which, I mean, hey, listen, when Mike Caldwell's coaching them upright, the defensive coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars, other than that debacle against the Texans, which was basically on 2 plays and a special teams touchdown.
Yeah.
Right. That Jaguars defense they're out over their skis, man. For all the trash that people want to talk on Trayvon Walker and how he's not getting enough pressures, X, Y, Z, whatever, and how much better Aiden Hutchinson is statistically doing, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Jaguars defense is making some damn noise. Well, this offense is not doing what you would think.
Good thing is you got time. You got time. Now from not being concerned with Dolphins, but this is a team I think at this point we should probably be concerned about. The one in to shoot. The Bengals.
Yeah, that 27-3 was pretty disgusting, huh?
Yeah.
Here's the reason why I'm not yet.
Okay.
And again, we've had the conversation about slow starts for the Bengals. This is kind of a thing they do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That the game against, I feel like as long as Joe Burrow is still in the league playing for the Bengals, the Titans will always have it out to stop him. That will always be a vengeance game heretofore, because Titans fans and players, I assume players, I know Titans fans feel like Burrow was lucky to get past them to be in the position to take on Patrick LeVon Mahomes II on a day when he forgot to play football, in the words of Keegan-Michael Key.
Right.
But we talked about this a little bit last week. They got some tune-ups coming up. Now, granted, Josh Dobbs and the Cardinals could surprise somebody.
Well, we've seen them 4 weeks in. They're not as bad as we thought they were.
They're that bad. Other teams just decided to F up.
We thought they were the worst team in football. I had them as the 0-17 candidate for the year started.
That was a little dramatic. Yeah. But you don't respect the physics of division games if you didn't see them winning one in the NFC West. That stuff is crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, them playing the Cardinals, listen, if and I know what you do, you're going to go panic meter and you want me to give you another. For right now, for me, I said 4 last time you asked. I'm going to say 5. You should be a little bit more concerned. Mm-hmm. But here's the premise. If they blow the game to the Cardinals, I'm freaking out. If I'm Mikey Byrne, I am awake at night, fetal, hoping my kids don't see how scared daddy is, because that Cardinals game, if they can't get that together, because in fairness, I think the weakest team they've played is the Titans, and honestly, they're just a bad matchup. That's why that happened, right?
No, Rams.
The defensive front is relatively weak, and the Bengals offensive line. Listen, the Titans front is the Titans defensive front is the best part of that team. Yes, even more than Derrick Henry, because he is one man and needs other people to feed him. The defensive line for the defensive front, I should say, for the Titans is dangerous. I'm on record in the 3-point conversion AFC South preview. Bing! That is a group that you have to watch out for. It is the offense that is problematic. And while Mikey Byrne would argue that Derrick Henry was the bigger problem, I'm telling you that if Joseph Burrow is forced to run all over the yard, he can't stay cool, especially when he's doing so injured, Ernest Christian.
Yeah, true. By the way, that AFC South is kind of wacky, 2-2 across the board.
Well, you say that, but I would remind you, I have a 10-win division winner, 2 7-game winners. It's going to be wonky in there.
Yeah. No, you're right. You called that too. I'm also going 5 as well too. Here's the only reason why I'm concerned, but I'm also still cautiously optimistic here for the Bengals.
Oh, I'm not going to say optimistic. That's too strong.
Okay, yeah, I guess you're right there. That's the word's a little too strong there. Here's why I will not be totally concerned for the Bengals just yet. First off, the goal should be get to 500 by the bye week. You got 2 weeks, the Cardinals, and I think the Seahawks, which would be a tough game too also.
It depends if Gino's playing.
Right. He did come back yesterday though, but we'll see.
He did.
The goal here is get to 500 by the bye week.
Yeah.
Okay. Reset the bye week and then figure it out from there.
Yeah, get back to 0-0 essentially.
Right. Number 2, I don't think there'll be any runaways in this division.
Whoa, Gilmore Girls, you did it again. Say that again.
I don't think there'll be any runaways in the division. I don't think Baltimore's going to run away the North.
Oh, it's the AFC North. It's the best division in football.
The Browns 2-2. The Steelers 2-2. Ravens are good, but I don't trust them to run away with it, like to win 13, 14 games. I don't see that happening.
I think the Steelers have a significant step back playing your boy Trubisky or whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah, Trubisky, but he'll get mad.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Why?
Because it's stupid. Okay, just no. First of all, he was never good enough to be Frisky. Okay, the only reason why he got any sort of play is because Matt Nagy, in a performance that got him the Coach of the Year.
True.
Okay, moved him all over the place and used smoke and mirrors, and eventually everybody knew what was going on in the corridor. They knew where all the funhouse mirrors were. They weren't fooled anymore. Okay,
Trubisky's dying a slow death here, even on this fucking show. I hate you guys.
He was always dead. Your dumbass kept it on life support.
But yeah, I get a 5 balls too, because of the same reason. I just think that, okay, win these 2 games, go to bye week, and then figure it out from there. 0-0, start over. Season starts over again.
Yeah, if you lose to the Cardinals, I think, that locker room especially, I'll put it this way. As I'm not as down on Zach Taylor like you are.
I'm not.
Staley with the Chargers, okay? But Zach Taylor, to me, doesn't really – I don't get excited about him as a coach, right? If you credit the success, you don't say, wow, golly, that Zach Taylor. No, you say it's Joe Burrow flinging it to Jamar Chase and company, right? And if that's not working because Joe isn't 100%, you know who we both know for a fact wasn't the Coach of the Year? Zach Taylor. The offensive game plan is more like a college team, a Power 5 college team playing a G5 team. Just out-talent them and let's get through the game. And you can't do that right now because your main talent is hurt. So if they lose to the Cardinals, I would expect there to be Zach Taylor questions coming from the Cincinnati fan base. Okay. And this isn't me saying I dislike Zach Taylor. Again, this isn't an attack, but those questions are coming.
Got a question for you. Is Jared Goff a top 10 quarterback now?
Is Jared Goff a top?
He's sure as hell been playing like one from last season or so now.
So here's why that's hard. Like, let me take your question and in Socratic method answer your question with a question. Is Jared Goff the best quarterback in the NFC North?
Right now, I got to say yes.
Okay. If he's the best quarterback in the NFC North, is that necessarily that impressive? Say no.
Right. Yeah. I'm a little higher than most on Kirk Cousins in terms of just being a solid guy from 1 through 16. We can discuss the primetime stuff and the playoff stuff, obviously. But
listen, screw the primetime stuff. Right. I'll give you the pushback that matters. Half the reason Cousins has done anything is he's had a miraculous set of receiver staff that they managed to turn over and keep good, by the way.
Diggs,
right?
Jefferson,
okay. Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen. They managed to replace immediately with Justin Jefferson, and Quentin Johnston this year is doing stuff. Like, granted, Johnston isn't Justin Jefferson, but who to play pass? Okay. Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, Stephon Diggs. He's already gone though. But now that what we're really seeing is how much Dalvin Cook actually mattered. Hold on. I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen. That's not for you, EJ. Yeah. That's for all the people that came up on my stuff when I had a reel on the Student of the Game Facebook page and said that Dalvin Cook leaving was a problem. I had Vikings fans telling me, but he's slow and not as good and okay? Simpleton fans don't understand how much running backs, good ones at least, are part of pass protection. That's half the reason why Derrick Henry kicks so much ass is because he provides more protection for Tannehill in Tennessee. Correct. Dalvin Cook did that same thing. Dalvin Cook's biggest and only problem, you can't help the club in the tub, and when he's healthy, though, it's a juggernaut. Here's the thing. People want to tell me about Alvin Kamara. Tell me the last time he's gotten a 1,000-yard season. I think it's been at least 3 years that he's gotten 1,000 yards on the ground, which, by the way, is not the accomplishment it used to be, right? Oh, Derrick Henry. Tell me the last time Derrick Henry even sniffed the kind of receiving yards that Dalvin Cook did. Okay? And by the way, Alvin Kamara, also not a great pass protector. Dalvin Cook does a little bit of every damn thing. And now the Vikings do not have that.
So Jared Goff seems like by default in the division.
Okay.
In the conference,
top 10, I don't know if I'm ready for that.
I mean, your top 10. I mean, obviously the Mahomes, obviously L. Jackson.
Mahomes,
no order.
Allen, Lamar Demetrius Jackson. We're not putting Rodgers there, obviously.
He's gone now, so that was a spot there.
Trevor.
Right.
What am I at? 4. It's 5. 4. I mean, are we?
You still putting Dak there? You still putting Dak top 10?
I think Dak is top 10. Well, we'll table that. Let's get there.
Let's do it now. Mahomes.
Yeah.
Allen.
Not necessarily in order. We're just kind of
no. Right. Burrow. Burrow's top 10. We're still going
Joey Burrow. Healthy. Right. Certainly better. Right.
L. Jax. Right.
Yeah.
Let's take out Rodgers from now since he's hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Tua.
No.
Okay. Herbert.
Yes.
That's 5.
Herbert's problem is coaching, and people won't realize it until he finally gets a good coach.
We've discussed that for years on this show.
Yeah, but it has to be said here for solidarity.
The Prince at 6. The Prince.
Stop that. I mean, I appreciate my dude Nick Cannon. Nick Wright for saying that, but it's more like a Nick Cannon take.
Okay.
Like it's all show, and all it's good for is getting dissed by Mariah.
So obviously no Mac Jones. Okay, obviously there.
Right.
Deshaun Watson, we're out on that now? Deshaun Watson?
I don't think we need – I'm not – well, first of all, I would have said no today, and I would have said no in August when I said his head isn't right yet. So I don't think we – it's not great to include Deshaun here. So, yeah, Goff is definitely better.
We're at 6 right now, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, we remove Aaron Rodgers. We remove Deshaun Watson out of the conversation right now, okay? We have 4 spots here.
I'll put Goff – listen, as much as I scoff at Goff, shit, I mean, that's going to ruin the whole – alliteration I've come to use over the years, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know that I would put Brock Purdy ahead of him. I think Jared Goff would be a great quarterback for Kyle Shanahan in that system, and I think he would do it better than Purdy.
Jalen Hurts is 7.
Jalen Hurts is definitely 7. That's a great call.
Okay, not in order.
Yeah. These are just quarterbacks we know definitively are better than
Russell Wilson. He's had a good year this year. He's second touchdowns this year.
Can you say definitively that you would take?
I won't do it. I'm just saying that second touchdown. I'm just defending Rusty because people won't shit on him for no reason at all.
As a Rusty stan,
yes.
At this stage in Rusty's career, in its twilight, I can't scoff at Goff here.
Right. So Goff's top 10.
I guess.
I'm throwing out names here, and Kirk Cousins top 10.
Say again.
Kirk Cousins.
Get the bleep out of here.
That's what I'm saying. I'm throwing out names. Derek Carr? No. I can't say at this point. Derek Carr has been good this year.
Going into the season, I would have said so, but it's hard to say that that's the case right now, who's been battling injury.
I'll say this much. Who's played better in the last 2 years? Goff or Cousins? Carr. It's been Goff. 2 years.
See.
It's tough, right? I know.
Well, no. I don't like that statement because it doesn't account for the surroundings. Goff may have more wins, but Carr has had them in games in total shootouts and been abandoned by that defense.
Okay.
So that's why it's tough for me.
But I think we agree at this point now, based on everything we've discussed here already. I'm 7 quarterbacks in. There's still 3 spots open, and I can't find another quarterback I can start top 10.
Yeah, we're struggling. Let's even say Dak is better because the reason why it's hard to evaluate Dak is because of the situation, not necessarily because of his talent. Right?
He's top 10. We agree he's top 10 right now.
Yeah, but we're not necessarily putting him ahead, or even if we put him below Goff today, Goff is still sneaking into the top 10.
Yeah,
you know what? Here's my hot take. I'll put Stroud ahead of Goff today. Absolutely.
He's been fantastic.
I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen.
So even if we put Goff at number 10, so be it. Number 10. I'm okay with that.
Top 10 technically.
So it's still top 10. It still counts, right? So
and I'm trying to think of any other rookie quarterbacks that are impressing me. See, that's the other thing. I would have thought at one point Fields was the air quotes better quarterback, but his situation is showing me that he can't read defenses the same way.
Right. Okay.
Maybe a Packer fan would make the argument that Jordan Love is better, but if that's where we are, I can see why you're posing the question.
No, it's not any closer now. I see. He's a lot of promise, but no.
But remember, here's the statement. Here's the statement. As hard as we're trying to be, even, he's still making his way.
Yeah.
Which proves maybe Sean McVay wasn't that good of a coach.
Ooh, hot take. More on that later. Yep. One last thing here before I get to the coaches on the hot seat. Are we seeing a possible quarterback controversy in New England?
Possible. I think it's inevitable.
They pulled Mac Jones. Belichick said yesterday. Real quick. Belichick said yesterday at the press conference that he's still the starting quarterback. With that being said, I feel like we're getting closer to a real controversy here. Again, 2 years in a row.
Going into the season, there was a goddamn controversy. Mm-hmm. Fans were calling for Bailey Zappian-ish. Then they cut him and brought him back on the squad. Then we're hearing reports about, Mac Jones being bratty and this, that, and the other thing. Hell, we've heard reports that, there was, I don't want to say friction, but that he wasn't catching on necessarily immediately quick. Sure, doing particularly well, but also I would argue his rookie year had a much easier schedule than any of his previous two. That argument could be made. I feel like he might have had better weapons. I feel like he might have had better protection even. But, yeah, you say, is there one? I'm saying there's been one.
Do you think it's warranted? Or do you think it's I thought Mac looked okay in the start of the year.
I did. Well, I don't. Okay, so Mac isn't a, air quotes, bad quarterback, right? If I'm going into, think of it this way. When Brady was suspended for the 4 games for Deflategate, right? Mm-hmm. And Garoppolo came in, did you feel like the Pats were just as dangerous? I did. Right?
Yeah.
When Garoppolo got hurt and Jacoby Brissett came in, did you feel like the Pats were less dangerous? Some, but not much. Now, I don't know if Mac Jones were to come in as a backup quarterback for a franchise, that whether he would be a no less concerned kind of quarterback, or a just a little bit, so I don't want to make it a gimme because they're playing a backup kind of situation. Like, it's not putting in Connor Cook for Derek Carr, for example, in a playoff game, right? It's that kind of situation where Mac Jones, if it doesn't work in New England, he was going to have the opportunity to be the best backup quarterback in football somewhere.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, let's get to coach on the hot seat. I have 6 coaches here. I want you to tell me scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the hottest seat, of course, and of course 1 to 0 being the lowest. I'm going to give you 6 names here. You tell me scale 1 to 10 hot seat. First one, we got the Bears coach Matt Eberflus.
Oh, bro, that is just a 9. He is in some trouble. Yeah. I don't. If the Bales fail, or continue to, I should say, this year, you have to feel like they're going to blow it up, don't you?
Well, here's the thing, too, also. Right now, they're on pace to have the first 2 picks in the draft. Right now, the 2 0
That's my point. In the league, you blow it up now so the new regime can come in and build and buy their groceries.
They won't extend Fields probably beyond this year. They won't give us a pick option. So you run 1 more year of Fields. You bring in, you draft Caleb Williams, assuming that he decides.
How about you pay some veteran linemen? How about that?
I thought Fields looked great in the first 3 quarters of the game. He was very efficient. I mean, I don't know. It's a mess there. But you have an opportunity here to where, assuming it stays the way it is, assuming the Panthers and Bears are the 2 worst teams in football by January rather, the 2 picks go to Chicago. So, I mean, there's an opportunity here to really change course. And not for nothing, I think Fields on a trade market can still get something. You can still get something for Fields.
Yeah,
I think he's still talented enough to garner interest. You don't think the Giants would want
if Trey Lance can find a spot, Justin Fields.
If you get a 4th for Trey Lance, you can at least get a 2nd for Justin Fields. It's a 2nd.
If I'm a GM and offering no higher than a 3rd,
okay, fine. Okay, right. Well, yeah, but I'm sure someone could say, "Oh, I'll give a 2nd," right? Depending on the team, of course. Now, too, in the situation.
Absolutely.
So I'm with you. It was probably definitely. I'll probably go.
If I'm Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, I'm not even thinking about higher than a 3rd.
I'm gonna go like 8.5, 9 as well too. That's not I have as well. So all right, maybe a little surprise here, but I'll say anyway because it's only second year in. Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota.
6. Because
Really?
the struggle is real. And you're in a bad division. Actually, I can see why Vikings fans would even argue with 7. Ernest Christian, think about the world we live in when I'm going to say this phrase. Your biggest threat is the Detroit Lions.
Mm-hmm.
That tells me the power vacuum is real in the NFC North. You and I have talked about the power vacuum in question with the departure of Aaron Rodgers since basically the trade was announced, because you followed me and my great football mind to go in that direction, he said jokingly.
Yeah.
Okay. That or you just, stole it off my notes. But yeah, right. But when you consider all that, man, like I can't go lower than a 6, because if I'm in that building, I'm like, bro, this should be our house. And it's not.
I'm going to go 3 because, again, it's the second year. First year as coach, they won a division, had the I believe the 2 seed in the NFC last year. So
that was all smoke and mirrors.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you on that.
Let me tell you this. The reason why you can't use the second seed defense is because of the exit that happened. And you were the team that literally everybody in the nation picked as an air quotes upset. That doesn't track from.
I
even think that second seed is more of an indictment in that front office who's evaluating whether or not to.
I'm sorry, third seed, not second seed, but still.
Thank you. Sorry. And I followed.
That's my bad. No.
Nonetheless, the point still holds.
Right. No, 13-4 last year, with a -5 point differential. So that they're gonna. I have 3 because I don't think ownership will panic this soon. I think if anything,
if they lost to the Panthers, they would have.
Maybe have a conversation about that, but I think also they'll.
0-4 is some shit.
I think what may happen is that they may allow him to pick the quarterback he wants first at this point.
Oh no. Because the reason why you don't want that to happen is then think about that. You're going to have another guy who you can tell is failing, that you're not sure about, set the tone for what the next class is going to have to deal with. The next, I shouldn't say class, but the next administration is going to have to deal with. That ain't it.
Fair point.
Now, granted, I'm assuming that a competent organization is the one in play. I can't necessarily declare the Vikings that.
Right.
I mean,
all right, next one.
Please as evidence, I should say, by one Kirk Cousins contract. By the way, it's not going to get any better playing the Chiefs next week. And depending on how things go against the Bears, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. All right, this one's pretty interesting. Raiders coach, Josh McDaniels.
It's not a 10. It's at least an 8. First of all, McDaniels, because the S is for sucks.
Yes.
Has proven once again that he's not a head coach in this league.
Mm-hmm.
And then his first move, though it was probably out of comfort, was to go to an injury-prone Jimmy Garoppolo. No, this ain't it. Yeah, I don't care if it's the first year. This guy's going to be out.
This is the second year, I think.
That only makes it worse, then, doesn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's why I went 10. I went 10 for that reason. Because
all right, put me down 10.
We've seen enough. We've seen enough of this here. How about
the fact so well in Denver, right?
Yeah. How about the fact that the guy scores a touchdown, but they don't call a touchdown? It's clearly a touchdown, and rather than challenge the fucking play, he wastes a minute. Now, granted, Raiders did score on a drive eventually, but because they wasted a minute off the clock, that's bad coaching. The guy was clear with the end zone, but he didn't challenge it. Dumb coaching, but it is what it is.
The S is for what?
Sucks.
Carry on.
My favorite guy, Brandon Staley with the Chargers.
What's Jim's favorite thing from Varsity Blues? 10! 10! Bro, you came in a situation where the offense is humming and making Kellen Moore look good. A coach that our friend Jim Neese of the Huddle Up podcast was ready to launch into the sun as a Cowboy fan. Bing! Okay? And now you as a defensive coach suck on defense. I know you're missing Bosa. That's kind of a big deal. I appreciate that. But also, damn. You're a team that had expectations to not only compete for this division, but to return to the playoffs and avenge your 27-0 flame out. And you may not even do that at this rate.
And we're lucky at 2-2 right now. I went 15.
Okay, that's fair.
I just won 10, went 15, but I'm also
it's your content, so you can break the rules. But
well, again, it also furthers what I've been saying for the last 2 years.
Hey. This is a dramatization of every time Ernest Christian hears Staley's name. Hey.
No, it's a 10. It's definitely 10 plus.
But also, as I did a dramatization for you, I would add another impersonation, and rightly so.
There we go, Joe Klatt. There we go. He's been awful. Like for me, what saves his job, honestly, he's got to win a playoff game on top of that. As you said.
And what happened in that playoff game, Ernest Christian? Yeah, I was there. I can tell you.
Yeah, I know you were there, and I don't see it happening. But unfortunately, he's lucky that his ownership groups, his bosses, the Spanos, are cheap as fuck.
Actually, it might even be part of the problem.
Yeah, well, that's why you might have a job security for another year or two. Anyway, how about this one? Robert Saleh in New York.
No, God, 2.
Okay.
2. Let me tell you why. First of all, let's pretend any of this is his fault. His side of the ball was kicking more ass than a guy with 5 legs and like 2 boots on his hands. Okay, his defense beat the Bills. A guy we have who has, by the way, one of the best receivers in the league and a top 10 quarterback. I know it was week 1 and that was part of it. I made that conversation. Screw you. Still impressive. And what they did to Patrick LaVon Mahomes II last night, people too stupid to understand that the Jets defense is just that bleep good. Why am I bleeping? Just that. I don't want to say F. I don't. It's not. Anyway, the punchline.
Fucking good. Say fucking good.
Well, thank you. You saved me, EJ Christian.
Jesus.
Patrick LaVon Mahomes II had people on Twitter trying to tell him that he looked average. Come on.
Yeah.
Robert Saleh's handling his part of the ball. Scapegoats. Ayahuasca goes down. Shouts to Jim Neese. The other thing, Nathaniel Hackett is not coaching impressively either for the offense. Scapegoat number 2. Robert Saleh is safe.
He has excuses. I went 4 because he was higher than 4 prior to this weekend. I would have come into the year.
No, should have been.
Kyle, coming to the year, I have him at 6 or 7.
No, not at all.
Coming to the year, there's pressure.
No.
He's actually lowered. I think you said is why I've lowered him to 4.
Okay, wait. You're saying expectations. That's not the same as the hot seat. Okay, according to expectations, the first week at least, in a game, by the way, where he lost his quarterback, his franchise quarterback, albeit a rental, 4 snaps into the game, and he still beat the AFC East division favorite. He met expectation at that point.
Right.
And what is hell? You got Ronnie Harrison doing the most unprofessional thing I've ever seen on NBC. By the way, that's not named Mike.
Yeah. I heard about that. What did he do exactly?
He said he was baiting Chris Jones to talk about how untalented Zach Wilson is, and I don't want to like try to listen. I try to voice act and reenact stuff. I don't remember it well enough, so I'll just kind of paraphrase. But the phrase "but this guy is trash" or something like it was used by Rodney Harrison to try to bait Chris Jones into a soundbite. It was disgusting. That dude is officially – I never liked Rodney Harrison as somebody, but I kind of accepted him because he had kind of a personality and presence, and he was always good with Tony Dungy, okay? He was kind of a Tony Dungy backpack, okay? But after seeing that, no, has no business doing the job. He's officially stealing money, just like your boy Bill Simmons.
I'm looking for it now, actually, so I can find this thing.
Well, I mean,
I'm going to play it. I'm saying, I'll find it right here.
Maybe EJ, for the sake of the audience, will edit this part in post.
No. We can keep talking. It's okay. This is what we do here, buddy.
By the way, this is you doing your best Rodney Harrison impression,
Yes,
being completely unprofessional and
okay.
making me look bad because I'm associated with you. Are you my
Shut
backpack?
the fuck up. Let's find it right here. Hold on. I think I found it. Okay, just shares real quick. All right. Let's see if I can find this. Is this it right here? Find it here.
I like that he's learning StreamYard on the fly. This is going to be a really shitty listen for our podcast listeners.
Do you hear it?
Yeah, that's it.
You can be honest. Honestly, if I'm being completely honest, we knew it was going to be a battle. He's continuing to get better week in and week out, and he's continued to lead.
Oh, my bad.
Some bands.
You have to click on the porn.
Sorry, guys.
Than what you anticipated he would be watching him on tape, and you can be honest. Honestly, if I'm being completely honest, we knew it was going to be a battle. He's continuing to get better week in and week out, and he's continued to lead week in and week out.
But watching that tape, man, you got to look at this dude and say, "Oh, he is garbage." Like we should really tear him apart
Earlier, like I said, Zach Wilson is special, man. You just got to give the guy time. You know what I mean?
Wait. Did you say Zach Wilson is special?
Damn.
Yeah.
I think he had a special night, but I don't think he's special. I've got to prove that.
Damn.
You're special. Because you proved it over a course of time. He's not special. I'm just saying, Chris.
Hey, listen.
I'm just saying.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. That didn't bother me as much as I thought it would. Hold on, let me turn this over quick.
Well, that's because you're not a professional. You're
no.
podcaster.
No, what I'm saying, I see the unprofessionalism there on his part. He went into player mode. He went into player mode.
Clear.
This is a podcast.
Let me be clear. Yeah. You listen to more after but this guy is trash comment. Listen.
Yeah.
The dude would need to cram a shovel up Chris Jones's butt to dig any more for a quote.
No.
And Chris Jones, who I met in person in Arizona during the Super Bowl 57, the week of Super Bowl 57, is a classy dude. Oh, if you have half a brain, you wouldn't even attempt to get it like that because you're not going to get it like that from
here's where I'll agree with you on there. If this was like on a podcast or on a different platform,
it's something I expect to see in New Heights where it's people just chatting amongst retired or active players, right?
If Shannon Sharp and Channel Single said that on their podcast,
if the Kelsey brothers were talking to Julian Edelman, I would expect Julian Edelman to go, "Yeah, Zach Wilson is trash," and that's okay in that setting.
I think because it's NBC. That's the issue.
It's NBC. You're asking another active player who is a good guy, and you're trying to put him in a position to look bad so you can get your soundbite. You are whoring yourself at that point.
For the record, never been a fan of Ronnie Harrison. Dirty ass player anyway, so it makes sense.
I mean, if you were a Giants fan, I would consider that bias.
But
what do you care? If you were a Giants fan, you would make a comment about having the last laugh. But I
remember that. Tyree. That's right, baby. All right, finally, speaking of that, great segue. My last coach here.
#talent.
Bill Belichick.
You know, this is hard to gauge. If it were anybody else, it's an 8. But I mean, how much stock do you think Bill has? You know, also, I would remind the public at large here listening to the Earnestly Speaking podcast. Bing. No, I'm on the show. You don't bing the show you're on.
Oh, what?
You don't wear the T-shirt of the band you're going to see. Don't be that guy, Ernest Christian. Jesus. Anyways.
Wait, you don't do that?
I'm sure you do, Tool.
I've done it before a couple times.
I
didn't wear a Tool shirt, though, at the Tool concert last year.
See, here's the thing.
I wore a Prince shirt.
If you went to the Tool concert while wearing your Tool T-shirt and you were telling me about going to the Tool concert while wearing your Tool T-shirt, and I would use the listening to Tool gif, that's Inception. Anyway,
and you'll sing the song also. Sorry, whatever. Go ahead.
No, but it would be an 8 with anybody else. I feel like he's going to get 2 numbers or 1 or 2 numbers down because it's Bill Belichick cheat, which means he's still in trouble. What I think he's positioning, and I haven't looked at his contract lately, so forgive me, I don't know how long it is. But if his contract is nearing expiration, it will not be removed or renewed, I should say. And I think he's what we're assuring is he's on his last contract. But listen, with the way Foxborough and Boston fans are such as they are, it's time for him to go. It's a wicked pisser, but he's past his prime.
So the number is not 8, right? It's not 8.
It's not 8. I would say 7 or 6.
It's tough because we don't know exactly what his culture looks like. Everything is so secretive with him.
And what if Zach Taylor gets fired when Bill Belichick does? Mm-hmm. People will speculate that he's on to Cincinnati.
Oh my God, you're the worst. By the way, that's good though.
What can I say except you're welcome?
I'm gonna go 3 just because it's just still too much stock.
And that's a fair take too, man. That's a fair take.
So, but I mean, but the part about the contract, if anything, they'll allow him to run out this contract because of everything he's done.
I mean, unless there's like 5 years on it, that's not gonna happen.
Right. That's true. All right, now we got out of the way. Let's talk some college football, as I'm about to bring up this week's updated top 25. As I say that, the top 5 is still the same as last week. In order, that's Georgia, that's Michigan, that's Texas, that's Ohio State, that's Florida State. Kyle, I'll be honest with you, they got it wrong here on 1 and 2. They should have swapped Michigan and Georgia, in my opinion. Your thoughts?
I'll agree with that. Mm-hmm. Georgia has, and listen, this is a point that Joel Klatt has made that I liked, right? Georgia, it just doesn't look particularly impressive. They lost a lot of pieces to the NFL, mm-hmm. The good problem to have in any college program, right?
Absolutely.
But also the defense of you get everybody's best shot, I think applies. I could take it either way. But I'm not, listen, I know that Jim would agree with you, Marge. But I'm not mad at it.
So yeah, so I swapped those 2. Texas 3 is fine. I'm okay with that. Ohio State 4.
I don't agree.
Okay.
Who did Texas struggle with, or did they struggle?
They
didn't. They started to struggle with Kansas and then got hot. I shouldn't complain about that. You're right.
Ohio State. Now I know you think Ohio State's too high still, right?
Actually, how hot take do you want to go there, Chief? You want to put the Longhorns at 2 behind Michigan?
I wouldn't do that far.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Okay, Michigan be number 1 in my opinion. So
okay, cool.
All right,
cool.
Ohio State 4. Ohio State's too high for you still? You won that last week.
They are, but like I've kind of accepted Ohio State in the top 5 for now. I know there'll be plenty of time here on the Huddle Up podcast for Jim to complain about Notre Dame in that game, and rightly so. Mm-hmm. I know he'll blame the refs for everything, even though they weren't really the problem per se. You could just, finish the game better, maybe. I don't know. But I'm not going to go after Freeman. I still think he's a good coach too. And listen, Notre Dame is playing in their toughest schedule yet. And I mean, they handled the Dukies. Speaking to Notre Dame, they handled the Dukies and looked pretty bad doing it. They are not a top 10 team in my opinion. But I can't make a good argument for Ohio State lower than 4. Here's where I'll pound the table, Ernest Christian.
Okay.
Why are your Seminoles and the overrated, absolutely awful waste of time Penn State 5 and 6? Both programs, I'm going to say it one more time, both programs should be ranked below the following: Washington, Oregon, USC.
I agree with the Washington part and probably USC.
Why not Oregon?
Oh, no. I don't like Oregon.
Maybe you don't, but the smack he put down on your boy Dion.
I will say though, I have this to show that Florida State does not feel like a top 7 team in the country right now. They don't feel like one, in my opinion.
And by the way, here's the other reason you do that. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
Oregon and Washington play next week.
Work yourself out.
There you go. I know you're fond of that BS.
Can't win that game.
5 and 6.
Yeah,
should be 8 and 9. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay, for listeners, real quick. 5 is Florida State, 6 Penn State currently, 7 Washington, 8 Oregon, who moved up 1 spot. USC down 1 spot at 9 with that win over Colorado, but it got kind of weird at the end. Colorado came back, made a game late, so they get it right here.
But they're still better than FSU and Penn State.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's go to number 10. Notre Dame up 1 spot at 10. Alabama up 1 spot at 11.
Bama should be ahead of Notre Dame.
Really? Okay, interesting. Okay, Oklahoma 12 up 2 spots.
Oklahoma needs to frickin' play somebody. I'm not impressed by them at all.
Well, it will happen this week. They play Texas at Texas.
I was going to say that game's going to show us a lot. And frankly, if Oklahoma beats Texas, they're going to get the ranking. They're going to get into the top 10. And I just can't take them serious as a top 10 team yet. No disrespect to Brent Venables or even the sock hawker himself, Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
But,
Fair enough. 13, Washington State up 3 spots.
Where's Oregon State? Stop it. Stop the press. Hold on. Go back. Utah lost this week. In a game I predicted they would lose.
Yeah, I think I called it too. Did I call the game also?
Why, if we've been holding Utah so serious for so long, why is Oregon State below North Carolina and Washington State? Over and above the fact they're 2 of the most overrated programs in the goddamn country.
I actually agree with you on that one. They're 15, by the way.
And they should be 13. That's what I'm telling you.
Ole Miss
you can disagree all you want. That's you just being an ACC homer.
No, I agree with you on that.
You do agree.
I do agree with you. 100%. Especially
What's North Carolina's best win, by the way, EJ Christian?
I don't even know.
That's my point.
Yeah. No, I don't even know. And honestly,
see how you walked right into that one.
No, and to your point too. Also, if you're weighing Utah as a good team, not you, but the rest of the committee here is, then
WTF, mate. Hey,
exactly.
By the way, I just happened to pull it up because I'm an actual professional and you're not.
Okay.
The Gamecocks, Appalachian State, who they only beat by a touchdown, I might add.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota and Pitt.
Man,
what's the standout win, EJ Christian?
I don't see any there.
My point exactly. That is a failure.
No, I don't. I don't disagree 1 bit. I don't.
Hold on. I'm still warmed up.
Oh, we got more.
Washington State.
Okay.
Their wins. Colorado State. Wisconsin, an overrated Wisconsin at the time, who was 19th.
Mm-hmm.
North Colorado, which I didn't know was a thing.
To me, did I.
And they lost to Oregon State.
Who did?
Washington State.
Oh, they're unbeaten still.
What?
They're unbeaten still.
Huh?
Washington State's still unbeaten.
What am I looking at then? Oregon State, Washington State. Oh, no, they beat Oregon State.
Right.
I read it backwards. Is that if that's okay?
Oregon State's a loss. That's why they they lost the game.
But they're still better than North Carolina.
Right. I agree with still. I still agree with you on that one. Absolutely.
Okay.
To your point.
And listen, if I'm supposed to be this stoked about Utah and this is what you're doing to Oregon State, what the hell are we doing here, guys?
I agree 100%. I 100% agree with you.
Duke at 19 is absolute trash too, by the way.
Okay, so real quick. So Ole Miss is 16, 4 spots? What a game was LSU. That was a fun game. No defense though. Jeez. Miami at 17, up 1 spot. Utah down 8 spots at 18, losing with the loss to Oregon State, you mentioned. Duke only down 2 spots at 19 with the loss to Notre Dame. You said Duke's too high?
Yes.
I don't know. Duke had a good. They played well against Notre Dame.
Another overrated team.
Okay. 20 is Kentucky at unbeaten.
Let me touch on the Dukies real quick.
Sure, go ahead. Go right ahead.
They lost to an overrated team, and their biggest win is against Clemson, the overrated team. Their other wins, glad you asked, Ernest Question, Lafayette, UConn, and Northwestern. Why are they here? Why are they ranked? Let's start with that.
The Clemson win was weighed pretty heavy. That's why. Honestly.
But where is Clemson on the top 25 right now? Are they even in that SOB?
Nowhere to be found.
Which means they're ranked below Fresno State, featuring UCF transfer Mikey Keene at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
What the bleep are we doing here?
Yeah.
Mizzou was undefeated.
All right, so Kentucky at 20.
And by the way, Kentucky also still undefeated.
Yep, and this should be a little higher than that. It's a big one against Florida this week.
It's because it's trendy to hate on the SEC right now.
Yeah. They can make a lot of headway this week. They beat Georgia at Georgia.
Then I'd laugh because you said head, and no, they won't beat Georgia.
Oh hell no! I agree with you 100%. 21 Missouri up 2 spots. 22 down 1 spot is Tennessee. 23 LSU took a massive drop in the polls. 10 spots back.
And rightly so.
And that hurt Florida State for the record.
And rightly so.
Yeah.
You know what else hurt Florida State, Ernest Christian? Going to overtime with Dabo Swinney.
Yeah, whatever. 24 Fresno State.
I can't hear you over the sound of you admitting I'm correct.
Yeah, you're correct. Whatever. 25 is Louisville.
That's absolute garbage.
Yeah.
Find me another good G5 team. I'll take them more serious than Louisville.
Someone's big mad today. You're big mad today, brother.
Oh, hey, listen. I've had to listen to UCF fans whine, bitch, and complain due to my contribution to the black and gold banneret. Bing! About blowing that game the way they did against Baylor.
Yeah. All right, one last thing.
26-0 in the fourth quarter was Baylor over UCF. You realize that, right?
I missed that game, actually, to be honest with you, until you reminded me.
I mean, you were so busy listening to Stu Gotts call them frauds on the Dan Le Batard show, perhaps actual facts.
But you got to admit that someone was funny as hell.
No, it really wasn't.
Come on, bro.
I've heard some good weekend takes, and I don't have a problem with the.
He's being silly. His whole point. He's being silly. The whole point was to be silly.
It wasn't funny. Like he was leaning way too hard on OBJ doing it with Kim Kardashian. That wasn't funny. Part of the problem is that's a thing that could have actually happened. That's why it's not funny.
and here's Jim complaining, oh, well, the dings are too much. The whole point of the dings is the takes.
Well, technology scares Jim, I guess. I got nothing.
Yeah, apparently. Jim is a straight shooter. He likes things simple and to the point.
You can see why he gets so flustered by the Cowboys. They don't know what they're doing.
Jim Scott Niece. What can I tell you? One last thing to get you out of here.
You know what? I need a big Jim middle name status. Well done.
Yeah, let's do that. The USFL and XFL merging.
Yeah. I performed a seance the other day, and Ray Charles said he saw that coming. Which is amazing because he's dead. I know what you thought, hater. No, but
damn, you know me too well.
Damn it. Hashtag talent. No. So let me lead with this because we know precisely, Jack. Okay. Good thing overall, right? We know the mission, at least from far as I cover the XFL deeply. I regularly cover the Orlando Guardians. And yes, I know they were a 1-9 team, but then they beat the team that lost in the championship, who was undefeated up until that point, and for the rest of the season, except for the championship game. Side point is this. We don't know anything else besides the fact they have every intention of signing a contract to merge. That is it. The list of things that needs to get worked out. How much is The Rock and Danny Garcia going to be involved? Who's going to air it? Because the TV rights are in 2 different companies. And you've seen how much that stuff slows things down in college football. I can only imagine what's going on here. Who's going to remain left? I can tell you this. I have heard that teams that don't have established venues are at a disadvantage. Good news for those of us covering teams in Orlando, by the way.
Yes.
And there's another list of issues that still need to all get work. Oh, yeah. They don't even know, are they going to do the pod system and play in a single place? Or are they going to do like the XFL does and practice in a pod and then play in their individual cities? All of that needs to get worked out. And I'm just scratching the surface, right? I don't know how quickly they're going to try to move. If this were college football where something of this ilk was happening, like if it was a huge realignment or merging of stuff, this would take 2 years.
Right.
Okay. I don't know how long this is going to take. I'm fairly certain they're going to try to launch for 2024. Let me tell you why that's dangerous. I think the XFL had the success it did because it kicked off right after the Super Bowl and gave the junkies what they wanted, the football junkies.
A little short in the arm after the season, right?
Me included, I'll say for the record.
Right.
But I feel like losing that element of continuation would be very detrimental to what seems to be called the NSFL.
Interesting. But ultimately, this is a good thing, though, you think, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the only reason why I'm not saying it's as inevitable as Thanos is Thanos was a villain, and I think this is not a villain. I think this is a good thing that's going to happen. Yes.
Right. I still think we're still a ways away from making spring football a habit. We're still a couple years away from that.
Be careful there, EJ Christian. Maybe a couple years is accurate. I know people that will outright wave the flag that spring football is going to fail. Let me tell you why it has a fighting chance, in my opinion. And none of it has anything to do with the product itself. I think we've established, at least I feel like the XFL was as good or a better product than the AAF that got ratings. And, the problem was the guy who they brought in to get more financial backing was shady and scandalous and, basically raided the league and ran.
Correct.
You're not going to have that problem, assuming they stay involved with The Rock and Danny Garcia. You're just not. By the way, done some press with Danny Garcia in Scrum. She's incredibly sweet and sharp. The issue, believe it or not, the evidence of the issue I see starts with all the cuts at ESPN, Ernest Christian. Let me tell you where I'm going.
Okay.
ESPN, as evidenced by those cuts, is hemorrhaging cash. College football has become more expensive to run, air, and broadcast, meaning less revenue to the program such as they are. What else that means? Less revenue to pay coaches, less revenue to back NIL collectives. Not that they directly contribute to the collectives, but the administrative duration and running that and recruiting that, which recruiting is a bigger expense than it's ever been in college football, I think is a safe thing to say.
Right.
Because you're not recruiting new players anymore. You got to recruit your own players too. And not everybody has the chutzpah, let's say, of Deion Sanders. If ESPN is hemorrhaging that much money, if Fox and CBS are also less inclined to pay more for college football, it's going to hit a wall in growth, might even contract. Where spring football now is staying right there with prospects ready to go at a much cheaper cost and a possibly more stable scenario. Now, what does the NFL pay to get college players? Right now, nothing. But the NFL, for a minute, is going to be competing with NIL. Example, Shedeur Sanders.
You got it right.
No, I said Shedeur Sanders. It's Shedeur Sanders.
Okay.
At quarterback. I believe he's not going to come out immediately because his first year of his NFL contract won't make the same money as NIL. We're running into the problem with that leather-headed players back when college was more popular than professional football at the turn of the century used to exist. That's on the table for the elite players. So if I'm a non-elite player and I'm ready for the NFL draft, will that pull me in? Maybe.
Right.
But now that those lower players are getting pulled by that, then the pool of other players that fell through the gap, more of them that are better are going to be available for spring football. And I don't have to waste draft picks to get those guys. And I can have more capital to trade for free agents in the meantime. And it puts me in a position to where the college product is less necessary, and the NFL is not going to be as dependent on that, which is bad. Like, basically this. The NFL would be in a position to get a supply line advantage and kind of squeeze or avoid college football as an option. And you may theoretically get more experienced guys out of the NSFL, dudes that know what it is to deal with, the money and don't have the learning curve of, how to behave in front of the press and all that other happy stuff. The little things that if you're going to get pulled in, you need to know right away. So just some things to think about. I'm not saying that college football is going away.
Right.
I'm just saying
adjustments
with the way that college football is going to potentially be less lucrative soon. It would be interesting to see how that impacts the sport.
Right. That makes perfect sense. Well, one quick thing before we get you out of here, because we don't ever do picks on our segment here, but I'll ask you quickly ahead of the big game next week. Niners Cowboys. Who wins?
Say it again. I was coughing. I'm sorry.
Who wins the game next week? Niners Cowboys.
The problem with you asking that on a Tuesday is I don't have injury reports yet. Who's healthy is actually, this game, in my opinion, this game is that close to who's healthy is a factor. However, that being said, I think, listen, the Cowboys defense is awesome, even without Trayvon Diggs. Okay. Guess what? So is the 49ers. Okay.
Yeah.
But if it comes down to who I think, if it comes down to who makes more mistakes, are you going to take Brock Purdy or are you going to take Dak Prescott?
At this point, Brock Purdy's earned a lot of trust from me, man. I'll say that.
And I'm not one of these guys that say that Dak Prescott's an interception-happy quarterback. I think that was a product of Kellen Moore's system. I think he got screwed hard by receivers not catching the passes.
Lots of tip balls last year.
I think if you calculate tip drops that turned into interceptions, he's below double digits. And what do you have, 15 last year?
Yeah.
To use your word, my friend, that is a shit ton, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, say all that to say, as he's fond of saying, I got to take the Niners just on that. If you don't turn the ball over, you're more likely to win the football game. If Brock Purdy turns the ball over, as a Niners fan, I'd be worried.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Which, if he does, further credit to the Cowboys defense that I believe is – they're not as good as the Browns defense. They're not as good as the Jets defense. And I don't think they're as good as the Niners defense, especially because if Jim would even combat that, or even Lady Ash herself of the After Dark Sports Network, who was previewing the Cowboys with me on the Student of the Game. Bing! At this point, I think you would all be compelled to agree without Trayvon Diggs that I always have to pause to make sure I don't say Stephon Diggs. But at this point, the best they can be is what? Top 4, top 5?
That's fine.
It's still pretty damn good. Like, would you take the Steelers defense over the Cowboys defense today? I would.
I would too.
So they're only top 5.
It's almost a wash, but I probably take Steelers because they the
reason why the Steelers defense might be a little worse is because then they get more garbage field position because my dude Kenny Pickett has not been looking great in some games. No.
All right, buddy, plug away. What you got?
Honor, joy, and privilege for being on the show, Ernest Christian. That's what I got, bitch. That's so perfect. I am Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter at the SOTG. You can find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG. Find my writings on the Jaguar Report of Fam Nation with SI. Find my writings with the 3-point conversion. Find my writings with the Black and Gold Banneret, where I cover UCF football and some basketball. By the way, look carefully. You got some NBA basketball coming.
I saw Cole Anthony interview yesterday.
Yeah, hey, more to come on that. I got some stuff queued up from Paolo Banchero, NBA Rookie of the Year last year, right? Ernest Christian.
I already told you. Orlando Magic, top 10 league pass team for me this year to watch.
Top 10 fascinating. He's not saying they're going to be
top 10 league pass. No, league pass team to watch.
Yeah. No, and listen, there's a lot of optimism to making the playoffs. And what I found interesting at Magic Media Day, Ernest Christian, is that all the players were like, I haven't been in the playoffs yet, but I want to go, So, listen, I like it from an excitement level. And, hey, listen, if Jonathan Isaac and Markelle Fultz can stay on the court for 30 seconds, maybe it's a real thing. Who knows? Anyways, look out for that upcoming too in my work with A7BN Sports. And, of course, the Student of the Game podcast, 8:40 p.m. Eastern. Look for that. Me and Big Jim are going to lightsaber duel over that Cowboys Niners duel in question. We're going to duel about the duel. Yeah, I'll take it. And, of course, my work with the Duval Dive and Travis Holmes. Find that Friday, 11 a.m. on the Student of the Game Facebook page, on the Twitch. We stream through the Huddle Up podcast channel. Bing! We stream through Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome. Bing! I think that's all of it. Don't you, Ernest Christian?
I think that's it. I think.
Oh, by the way, tonight, as we record this, I will actually be on the In or Out Sports Debate Show, episode 102, with my guy Drew Willingham and Joey Raymond, the reigning appearance champion. And I'm third currently, so I'm going to be creeping up here. But had to do a rare 3-man episode because I got sick of Joey Raymond talking smack. He didn't talk smack. I'm just trying to do the WWE thing. Let me tell you this, sir, this Christian B. You're going to step into the show on the In or Out Sports Debate with Drew Willingham, and it's going to be a match for the ages. Yeah. Anyways, great time with you, my friend. An honor, joy, and privilege. But till next time, class dismissed.